Hello! I am Teacher Aubrey and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about the modal verbs can and could. Let's get started! Can and could are modal verbs. And a lot of learners are getting so much confused about them. Yes, napakaraming mga mag-aaral ang nagre-request sa ating channel na talakayin ko ang topic na ito. At sa abot ng makakaya ko, tatalakayin ko siya sa pinakamadaling paraan na mauunawaan ninyong lahat. And these two words, can and could, as I said, they are modal verbs in which they talk about the possibilities, also about abilities or capacity, as well as polite expressions. So, what are you waiting for? Let's get started. Mayroong tatlong gamit ang modal verbs na can and could. Ang una, ginagamit ito to talk about ability or capacity. Kapag gusto mong tumukoy sa kakayahan o kapag tutukuyin mo na kaya mong gawin ang isang bagay. Pero nahahati sa dalawa. Ginagamit ang modal verb na can kapag ang kakayahang tinutukoy mo ay kaya mong gawin still in the present. Kaya mo pa rin gawin hanggang ngayon. But we are using the modal verb could if you are talking about the ability or capacity that you can do in the past. Or kaya mo siyang gawin pero sa nakaraang panahon. Unahin natin yung modal verb na can. Again, ginagamit siya kapag yung kakayahan na tinutukoy mo ay nagagawa mo pa rin sa pangkasalukuyan. Let's have example sentences. I can dance ballroom. Kaya kong sumayaw ng ballroom. Tumutukoy sa cha-cha, samba, rumba, at iba't iba pang kauri nito. Nangangahulugan na kaya ko siyang gawin ngayon. Kaya kong sumayaw ng ballroom sa pangkasalukuyan. Another example. He can run fast. He can run fast. Kaya niyang tumakbo ng mabilis. At yung kakayahan na yon ay kaya niyang gawin hanggang ngayon sa kasalukuyan. And last example, she can play 5 different musical instruments. She can play 5 different musical instruments. Or in Filipino, kaya niyang tumugtog ng 5 iba't ibang uri ng instrumentong pangmusika. Ibig sabihin, ang kakayahan niyang yun ay kaya niyang gawin hanggang ngayon. This time, let's move on to the modal verb could. But still, nandun pa rin sa gamit na tumutukoy sa ability or capacity. Ginagamit natin ang modal verb na could to talk about ability or capacity or tumutukoy sa kakayahan. But unlike the modal verb can, ang modal verb na could, ginagamit na siya kapag ang tutukuyin mong ability or capacity or kakayahan ay nagagawa mo dati or nagagawa sa nakaraan pero hindi na kayang gawin ngayon. Subukan nating baguhin yung mga pangungusap kanina into the modal verbs could. So, kanina yung tatlong examples natin na sentences ay tumutukoy sa mga kakayahang nagagawa sa pangkasalukuyan. But let's try to change them into modal verb could para maging tumutukoy na sa mga kakayahan sa nakaraan. Let's have the first one. Kanina sinabi natin, I can dance ballroom o kaya kong sumayaw ng ballroom. Ngayon, sabihin, nagagawa ko siya ngayon. So let's make that could. Magiging, I could dance sa ballroom when I was in high school. So mapapansin natin, it's really evident, makikita na tapos na siya dahil may binanggit tayo na span of time sa nakaraang panahon. Sinabi natin na when I was in high school. Ulitin ko, I could dance ballroom when I was in high school. Kaya kong sumayaw ng ballroom noong ako ay nasa high school pa. Ibig sabihin, noon ko siya kayang gawin, pero ngayon, hindi na. The second example, sinabi natin kanina, he can run fast. Kaya niyang tumakbo ng mabilis. Tumutukoy sa kilos na nagagawa niya ngayon. Pero para maging could na siya, it will be like this. He could run fast until he had the major injury. He could run fast until he had the major injury. Kaya niyang tumakbo ng mabilis hanggang sa sumabit ang pagkakataon na nagkaroon siya ng matinding injury sa kanyang katawan. So, ibig sabihin, kaya niyang gawin dati. Pero, natigil dahil nagkaroon siya ng matinding injury. And the last example, sinabi natin kanina na she can play 5 different musical instruments. Or nangangahulugan na kaya niyang tumugtog ng 5 iba't ibang instrumentong pangmusika. Tumutukoy yun sa kakayahan na kaya niyang gawin hanggang ngayon. Pero para maging could, it will be, she could play 5 different musical instruments in her elementary days. Kaya niyang tumugtog ng 5 iba't ibang uri ng instrumentong pangmusika noong siya ay nasa elementarya pa. Ibig sabihin, dati kaya niya, pero nung hindi na siya elementary, naging high school na siya, hindi niya na kaya, pwedeng nalimutan niya na dahil napunta na yung attention niya sa iba't ibang mga hilig. Again, the first usage of the modal verbs can and could is for the ability. Tumutukoy sa kakayahan. For the modal verb can, kakayahan sa kasalukuyan. For the modal verb could, kakayahan sa nakaraang panahon. This time, let us move on to the second usage of the modal verbs can and could. Ginagamit natin ang dalawang modal verbs na ito to talk about possibility. O kapag gusto mong tumukoy sa mga bagay na posibleng mangyari. Well, generally, ang karaniwan talagang ginagamit to talk about possibility is the modal verb could. Yun talaga yung mas karaniwan nating naririnig. And this modal verb could, mas flexible siya kumpara sa modal verb na can. Dahil ang modal verb na could, ginagamit siya para tumukoy sa posibilidad in the past, in the present, and in the future. Let's have example sentences. The first one is this. So let's say we have this situation. Pumasok ako at ikaw na kaklase tayo. Pumasok tayo sa classroom at anong oras na, pero wala pa rin yung teacher natin. So, nag-isip tayo na baka na-traffic or baka may nangyaring emergency sa family kaya hindi na siya makakapasok. So, pwede kong sabihin na the teacher could be late. O may posibilidad na late o mahuhuli sa klase ang guro. So, that possibility reflects a possibility in the present o sa pangkasalukuyan. Again, the teacher could be late. Another example, if you don't practice, you could lose the game. If you don't practice, you could lose the game. Kung hindi ka magsasanay, pwedeng matalo ka sa laro. Ang tanong, sinasabi bang talo na siya sa laro? Hindi pa. Pero, may posibilidad na matatalo siya kung hindi siya magsasanay na mabuti para dun sa sasalihan niyang game or laro. And that possibility reflects a possibility in the future o posibilidad na mangyayari pa lang sa hinaharap. And the last example is this. We could save the child if you have brought him to the hospital on time. We could save the child if you have brought him to the hospital on time. May posibilidad na masagip natin yung buhay ng bata kung nadala lang siya ng mas maaga sa ospital. Again, may posibilidad na nasagip natin yung buhay ng bata kung nadala lang siya sa ospital ng mas maaga. And that sentence reflects possibility in the past o posibilidad sa pangnakaraang panahon. Nangangahulugan na tapos na yung tinutukoy mong posibleng mangyari sa nakaraan. Ibig sabihin, posible pa lang masagip yung buhay ng bata sa nakaraan kung nadala lang ng mas maaga sa ospital. We are using the modal verb could to talk about possibility, and it's more flexible than the modal verb can because we can use it in the present, in the past, and in the future. And ginagamit naman natin ang modal verb na can sa isang pagkakataon lang na ito. Ano yan? Ginagamit natin siya to talk about general possibility. Or when we say general possibility, pangkalahatang posibilidad o mga bagay na posibleng mangyari na katanggap-tanggap sa pangkalahatan. Let's have example sentences. The first one is this. Drinking alcohol can damage your liver. Drinking alcohol can damage your liver. Ang pag-inom ng alak ay maaaring makasira sa iyong atay. Ang pag-inom ng alak ay maaaring makasira sa iyong atay. So, that's a general possibility na katanggap-tanggap para sa lahat. Alam naman natin kapag umiinom ng alak at kapag malakas uminom ng alak, talagang posibleng masira ang atay. And the second and last example is this. You can catch a cold if you go out in the rain. You can catch a cold if you go out in the rain. O Maaari kang magkasipon kapag lumabas ka ng umuulan. Maaari kang magkasipon kapag lumabas ka ng umuulan. And well, that's another general possibility. Alam naman nating lahat na kapag tayo ay lumabas at umuulan ng malakas o kahit mahina, di ba? Alam na alam yan, lalo ng mga nakatatanda sa atin, maaari talaga tayong magkaroon ng sipon, ng lagnat, o ng sakit. Again, the second usage of the modal verbs can and could is for possibility. Let's move on to the third and last usage of the modal verbs can and could. Ginagamit ang modal verbs na ito when we are going to talk about polite expressions o sa mga magalang na pagpapahayag. Mayroong 4 na gamit. Ang una, ginagamit ito for polite expressions specifically in making suggestions o kapag gusto mong magbigay ng suhestyon. Pero kapag gusto mong magbigay ng suhestyon, ang ginagamit lang na modal verb ay could. Hindi natin gagamitin ng can dito. Let's have example sentences. The first one is, you could go to Australia for further studies. You could go to Australia for further studies. So, you made a suggestion, nagbigay ka ng suggestion na pwede kang magtungo sa Australia para sa karagdagang pag-aaral. O para sa karagdagang pag-aaral pa. Another example is, we could try the new menu on our favorite Japanese restaurant. We could try the new menu on our favorite Japanese restaurant. Nagbigay ka ng suggestion na pwede nating subukan yung bagong pagkain na nasa menu ng paborito nating Japanese na restaurant. And again, the first usage when it comes to polite expression is when we are making suggestion. At ang ginagamit lang dyan ay ang modal verb na could. The second type of polite expression is when we are making requests o kapag tayo ay nakikiusap. Ang ginagamit dito ay pareho. Ang modal verb na can at ang modal verb na could. Pero tandaan, in the English grammar, ang modal verb na can, ginagamit siya in making request in much informal scenarios. O mas informal yung tunog niya kapag ginagamit siya. Unlike the modal verb could, ito yung modal verb na ginagamit natin para mas maging formal at mas polite. Mas magalang siyang pakinggan. So, let's have example sentences. The first one is, can you get me a glass of water? Question mark. Can you get me a glass of water? O pwede namang dagdagan pa ng, can you get me a glass of water, please? Then, question mark. O para naman mas polite o mas magalang pakinggan, we can say, could you get me a glass of water, please? Another example is, can you wait for a moment, please? O pwedeng sabihin na, could you wait for a moment, please? Pareho po silang tama, grammatically correct. Ang kaibahan lang ginagamit ang modal verb can in making requests na medyo informal. At ginagamit ang could when we are making requests to sound more polite and it's more formal. The third kind of polite expression is when we are making offers o kapag tayo ay nag-aalok. Ang ginagamit nating modal verb ay parehong can and could. Pero kagaya kanina, ginagamit ang can kapag informal situation o kapag informal conversations. Pero kapag gusto mong mas maging formal at mas maging tunog magalang or even more polite, ang gagamitin mo ay could. Let's have example sentences. The first one is, can I get you something to eat, sir or ma'am? O pwede mo namang sabihin din na, could I get you something to eat, sir or ma'am? O pwede ba kitang maikuha ng makakain? So, you made an offer. Another example, can I help you with your belongings, sir or madam? Can I help you with your belongings, sir or madam? O pwede mo namang sabihin para mas polite, mas formal, you can say, could I help you with your belongings, sir or madam? Pareho pong tama, depende na lamang sa scenario kung gusto mo ay informal o kung gusto mo mas magalang or mas polite kang pakinggan. Again, ginagamit siya for making offers. And lastly, the fourth kind of polite expression is this. Ginagamit ang modal verbs na can and could when we are going to give and seek permission o kapag tayo ay magbibigay o manghihingi ng pahintulot. Let's have example sentences. Unahin natin yung seeking permission o kapag manghihingi ka ng permiso. The first one is, can I have your number, please? Or could I have your number, please? Pwede ko bang mahingi ang numero ng telepono mo? Pakiusap, di ba? Magalang. In Filipino, ganun lang. Pero sa English kasi may can and could tayo. At mas magalang pa rin yung modal verb na could. Can I have your phone number, please? Can I have your phone number, please? Another example, can you help me in finding my wallet? Can you help me in finding my wallet, please? Or you can say, could you help me in finding my wallet, please? Pareho pong tama, depende sa pagkakagamit. If you want to sound informal, you can use can. And if you would like to sound more polite and even formal, you have to use could. Now, let's have example sentences when we are giving permission o kapag magbibigay naman na tayo ng pahintulot. Hindi na to patanong, declarative sentences na siya. The first example is, you can go on the trip. Maaari kang sumama sa magiging pag-alis. Nagbigay ka ng pahintulot, maaaring sa anak mo o sa estudyante mo. And the last example is, you can play with your friends after doing homework. You can play with your friends after doing homework. So, nagbigay ka rin ng pahintulot na makapaglaro siya sa mga kaibigan niya kapag natapos niya yung kanyang takdang aralin. And again, the last usage of can and could is for polite expression in which you can give or seek permission. This time, subukan natin kung naunawaan ba ninyong mabuti ang naging pag-aaral natin. It's your turn. Answer this short quiz. Put your answers and your score in our comments section below. Lesson for today. Kung marami kayong natutuhan, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Yes, like this video, and I'm inviting you to become a part of our YouTube online community of learners. What you have to do is just to simply click the subscribe button below, and don't forget to ring the notification bell para lagi kayong updated every time I upload new videos. And you may also send super thanks to show support on my contents. And lastly, I won't stop motivating you na anuman po ang inyong mga edad, estado sa buhay o narating sa buhay. Kung mayroon kayong mga pangarap, walang imposible basta lagi lamang pagsisikapan at pagsasanayan. See you on our next videos! Bye! Hello! I am Teacher Aubrey and welcome back to my channel. In today's video lesson, we are going to discuss the difference and uses of the words will and would. Let's get started. Will and would are modal verbs in the English grammar, and we are also calling them as helpers or helping verbs na kung saan ay may kasunod sila na main action verb. Kaya sila tinawag na helping verb because they help the main action verb to express its thought. Gayun din, ginagamit itong modal verbs na will and would to talk about the tense of the main action verb. Aside from that, they also have a lot of different uses. They have similarities as well as differences. Let's talk about them. Unahin natin ang salitang will. The first usage of will is for expressing certainty or belief. O kapag gusto nating ipahayag na sigurado tayo o matibay ang paniniwala natin na mangyayari yung isang bagay. Tingnan natin itong halimbawang pangungusap. The laundry will be dry now. The laundry will be dry now. Gumamit tayo ng modal verb na will dahil sigurado tayo na yung nilabhan ay matutuyo ngayon. Ginagamit din ang modal verb na will to express certainty or belief in the present and in the future. Sa pangungusap natin na the laundry will be dry now, gumamit tayo ng time expression na now. Dahil yung certainty or strong belief natin na matutuyo yung labada ay mangyayari ngayon. Another example. We will arrive in Tokyo at 9 a.m. Ginamitan natin ito ng modal verb na will dahil sigurado tayo, we are certain na lalapag yung eroplano sa Tokyo, Japan at exactly 9 a.m. Last example. It will rain tomorrow. It will rain tomorrow. In this sentence, we use the modal verb will because we have the strong belief. We are certain that it will rain tomorrow. Na uulan bukas. Bakit? Marahil narinig natin sa weather forecast, kaya sigurado tayo. Again, the first usage of the modal verb will is to express certainty or strong belief in the present and in the future. The second usage of the modal verb will is for discussing intentions and willingness. Again, for discussing intentions and willingness. Ginagamit natin ang will kapag gusto nating ipahayag na willing tayong gawin ang isang bagay o kapag ipinapahayag yung intensyon. From the word itself, will, willing tayong gawin ang isang bagay in the present and in the future. Narito ang mga halimbawang pangungusap. Mary says she will visit us today. Mary says she will visit us today. Ang ginamit natin dito ay ang modal verb na will. Ginamit natin ang will dahil ipinahayag natin na willing si Mary na dalawin tayo ngayong araw. Ipinahayag dito yung willingness ng ating subject na si Mary. Another example, I will finish my homework tonight. Ang ginamit pa rin natin dito ay ang modal verb na will kung saan ipinahayag dito yung willingness, yung kusang loob at kagustuhan mismo nung nagsasalita na gagawin niya yung kanyang takdang aralin mamaya. So, that is a future time. That is an intention and willingness in the future. The third one is we use the modal verb will when we are making promises or offers. Kapag tayo ay nangangako o nag-aalok ng tulong. Narito ang mga halimbawang pangungusap. We will pick Sarah up from the airport. O susunduin natin si Sarah sa airport. So, that one expresses a promise. Nangako ka na susunduin si Sarah sa airport. You expressed a promise in that sentence. Another example is this. I will bring you a coffee. I will bring you a coffee. In this sentence, ginamit natin ang modal verb na will to express an offer to someone. Nag-alok ka na dadalhan mo siya ng kape. Another one, ginagamit din natin ang modal verb na will to make requests. O kapag tayo ay hihingi ng pabor, magre-request tayo. This is the example sentence. Will you come to the hospital with me? Will you come to the hospital with me? Pwede ka bang pumunta sa hospital kasama ko? Ginamit natin dyan ang modal verb na will to show request o para manghingi ng pabor. The next usage of the modal verb will is when we are expressing conditionals and hypotheticals. Kanina, nabanggit natin sa unang gamit ng will na ito ay ina-apply kapag gusto nating sabihin na tayo ay sigurado o matibay yung paniniwala natin sa isang bagay sa kasalukuyan o sa hinaharap. Given yung bagay na yon. Pero, ang isa pang gamit nitong modal verb na will ay kapag gusto nating tumukoy sa isang kondisyon na kung saan magaganap ang isang bagay sa hinaharap kapag na-meet yung isang kondisyon o pangyayari. Narito ang halimbawa. If the traffic is okay, we will leave there by noon. If the traffic is okay, we will leave there by noon. O gusto mong sabihin na kapag naging maluwag ang daloy ng trapiko, at least kayo doon pagsapit ng tanghali. nagkaroon dyan ng isang sitwasyon, sinabi na kapag na-meet o nangyari yung sitwasyon na yun, kapag naging maayos yung daloy ng trapiko, nangyayari pa lang yung nasabing kondisyon o pangyayari sa hinaharap. At yun nga yung aalis sila sa lugar na iyon. Another example, unless he studies every day, he will fail the exam. Unless he studies every day, he will fail the exam. Sa halimbawa nating ito, ay mayroong isang sitwasyon na tinutukoy unless he studies every day. Maliban na lang kung nag-aaral siya araw-araw, pero hindi eh. Kaya naman, babagsak siya sa kanyang pagsusulit. Those are our examples expressing conditionals and hypotheticals. And the last usage of the modal verb will is when we are expressing habitual or typical behaviors o kapag gusto nating tumukoy sa mga kilos na palaging ginagawa or habitual actions. Example sentence. He will always talk about his family for the days given half the chance. Another example. She will always turn on the television as soon as she gets home. She will always turn on the television as soon as she gets home. O gusto mong sabihin na kasanayan niya na ginagawa niyang palagi ang pagbubukas sa television tuwing makakarating siya o makakauwi sa kanilang bahay.
When the subject is pronoun, sometimes we just contract or shorten it. I will becomes I'll. You will becomes you'll. He will becomes he'll. She will becomes she'll. They will becomes they'll. It will becomes it'll. We will becomes we'll. And they will becomes they'll. To have the negative form of the modal verb will, we just have to add the word not after the word will. It will be will not plus the verb in its base form. Examples: will not attend, will not watch, will not sleep. Also, we can use the shortened form of it or the contraction form. It will be won't. Again, won't plus the verb in its base form. Examples: won't attend, won't watch, won't sleep. In one of our examples, we use the question form of the modal verb will. To have one, we just have to use the following patterns. Will plus the subject plus the verb in its base form. Example: will you come to the hospital with me? Yan yung ginamit nating halimbawa kanina. Kapag naman negative form, just follow this pattern. We have will plus the subject plus the word not plus the verb in its base form. Example: will you not come to the hospital with me? And we can also use the shortened form or the contraction form of the words will not. We have won't plus the subject plus the verb in its base form. Example: won't you come to the hospital with me? Let's have a quick summary on how we can use the modal verb will. Firstly, we use it when we are expressing certainty and strong belief. Second, we can use it when we are discussing intentions and willingness. Third, when we are making promises, offers, and requests. Fourth, when we are expressing conditionals and hypotheticals. And the last usage is when we are expressing habitual or typical behaviors.
This time, pag-usapan naman natin ang iba't ibang gamit ng modal verb na would. Marami pong pagkakapareho sa modal verb na will, pero may mga pagkakaibang dapat nating tandaan. Ang unang gamit ay to express certainty or strong belief. Tulad sa will, magagamit ito pag gustong ipahayag yung kasiguruhan o yung matibay na paniniwalang mangyayari ang isang bagay, pero sa nakaraang panahon. Expressing certainty or strong belief in the past. Here are the example sentences. I thought the laundry would be dry now. So in this sentence, ang ating pong action verb ay thought, which is in the past form. Kaya nangangahulugan na tapos na yung kilos. Tapos na yung pagpapahayag mo dun sa bagay na naisip mo na sa tingin mo mangyayari. So that's already in the past, kaya ang ginamit natin ay would. I thought that the laundry would be dry now. Another example.
We would have arrived at 9 a.m., but the train was late. We would have arrived at 9 a.m. but the train was late. Ito sa pangungusap na ito, sinabi mo na darating sana kayo. Naniwala ka, ipinahayag mo na sigurado kang darating sana kayo ng 9 a.m. or ng alas 9 ng umaga kung hindi lang na late o nahuli yung tren. So that's a certainty or a strong belief in the past. The next usage of the modal verb would is when we would like to express past intentions o kapag gusto nating tumukoy sa intensyon sa nakaraang panahon o yung intensyon na tapos na, nangyari na ipahayag na dati. These are the example sentences. Mary said she would visit us. Mary said she would visit us. So, napansin niyo ang ginamit na verb dyan ay said. Ibig sabihin, nasabi na ni Mary, tapos na. Kaya ang ginamit ay would. Pero yung purpose pa rin nung modal verb sa pangungusap ay para ipahayag yung intensyon ni Mary sa nakaraang panahon na gusto niyang dumalaw sa atin. Another example. My dog would not stop barking. My dog would not stop barking. Yung aso ko, alam ko dahil kilala ko yan, aso ko, na intensyon niya talaga, sinasadya ng aso ko na hindi tumigil sa kakatahol dahil nga mayroong dumating na hindi niya kakilala. Pero nangyari yun dati. That's a past intention of the dog. The next usage of the modal verb would is for making requests. Just like in the modal verb will. Pareho silang pwedeng gamitin when you are making requests. Pero tandaan, ang kaibahan lang ng would sa will, it is more formal, it is more polite, and more indirect. O hindi masyadong direkta pakinggan, mas magalang pakinggan, pero parehong tama. Ang maisasuggest ko lang, pwede niyong gamitin ng would kapag ang kausap ninyo ay yung superior ninyo, yung katrabaho ninyo, o yung mas mataas ang posisyon sa inyo para mas magalang pakinggan. Here's the example sentence. Would you pass the salt, please? Would you pass the salt, please? Pwede mo pang ipasa yung asin, pakiusap. In English grammar, in the English context, mas magalang po pakinggan kapag would ang ating ginamit. Another usage of the modal verb would is for expressing conditionals and hypotheticals. Kahalitulad din sa modal verb na will, ginagamit ito kapag yun ang gustong ipahayag for conditionals and hypotheticals o kapag sigurado ka sa tingin mo mangyayari yung isang bagay sa hinaharap. Pero, eto namang would ay ginagamit pa rin natin sa kaparehong purpose. Pero, gagamitin na siya kapag yung sa palagay nating mangyayari ay imaginary o pang-imahinasyon lang, hahangga lang sa imahinasyon natin dahil most likely na hindi siya magkakatotoo. Okay? Sa imagination lang natin. Here are the example sentences. If no one ever won the lottery, people would stop buying tickets. O hindi ba? Parang very imaginative tayo sa part na yon. Kasi imposible naman talagang walang tataya sa mga lottery such as Lotto at iba pang kahalintulad nito. Kaya, imaginary lang yung sitwasyon na binigay natin. Na people would stop buying tickets. And last example is, it would be sad if we had to leave this city. The next usage is for habitual and typical behaviors. Katulad din sa will. Pero, yung habitual or typical behavior na tinutukoy dito sa paggamit ng would ay yung mga nakasanayang gawin o mga kinasanayang kilos sa nakaraan. O tapos na. Here are the example sentences. Before the Industrial Revolution, people would weave textiles by the hand. Before the Industrial Revolution, people would weave textiles by the hands. So, bago pa raw nangyari yung Industrial Revolution. Kung napag-aralan ninyo sa history, ang mga tao dati ay kamay lang yung ginagamit sa pagtatahi ng mga textiles. Kamay lang yung ginagamit dati. Another example. When I lived in Japan, I would take the train to work. When I lived, so that's already in the past, nung nakatira ako dati sa Japan,
Ang karaniwang ginagawa ko ay sumasakay ako sa tren patungo sa trabaho. So we used would because that is a habitual or typical behavior, typical action in the past. And the last usage is we are using the modal verb would when we are giving a reported speech o yung gusto nating banggitin uli yung isang bagay na sinabi ng isang tao o narinig natin. Narito ang halimbawang pangungusap. Halimbawa, sinabi ng kaibigan mo sa'yo na, I will be here at 8 o'clock. Sa'yo mismo sinabi ng kaibigan mo, I will be here at 8 o'clock. Yun yung mismong sinabi, I will be here at 8 o'clock. At ikaw naman, kinuwento mo sa akin na pupunta yung kaibigan mo o makakarating yung kaibigan mo pagsapit ng alas 8 ng gabi. Ganito ang sasabihin mo ngayon. She told me that she would be here at 8 o'clock. Gumamit ka na ng salitang would kasi naging reported speech na. Hindi na siya quoted line. Hindi na binanggit yung direktang sinabi nung unang pinanggalingan nung linya na I will be here at 8 o'clock. Binanggit mo na, nirephrase mo na kasi ikinwento mo na yung sinabi sa'yo. So it became, she said or she told that she would be here at 8 o'clock. That's a reported speech.
When the subject is pronoun, sometimes we just contract or shorten it. I would becomes I'd. You would becomes you'd. He would becomes he'd. She would becomes she'd. They would becomes they'd. It would becomes it'd. We would becomes we'd. And they would becomes they'd. To have the negative form of the modal verb would, we just have to add the word not after would. It will be would not plus the verb in its base form. Examples: would not attend, would not watch, would not sleep. Also, we can have the contraction form or the shortened form of the words would and not. It will be wouldn't. Wouldn't plus the verb in its base form. Examples: wouldn't attend, wouldn't watch, and wouldn't sleep. When you'd like to ask using the modal verb would, to have the question form, just follow these patterns. Would plus the subject plus the verb in its base form. Example: would you come to the hospital with me? Next is asking using the modal verb would in negative question form. Would plus the subject plus the word not plus the verb in its base form. Example: would you not come to the hospital with me? And lastly, use the contraction or the shortened form of the words would and not. It will be wouldn't plus the subject plus the verb in its base form. Example: wouldn't you come to the hospital with me? Let's have a quick summary on how we can use the modal verb would. Firstly, we can use it for expressing certainty or strong belief. Second, we can use it when we are expressing past intentions. Third is for making requests. It is more formal, more polite, and more indirect than the modal verb will. The fourth usage is for expressing conditionals and hypotheticals. The fifth one is for expressing habitual or typical behaviors. And the last usage is when we are giving a reported speech.
This time, it's your turn. Try to put your answers and your score in our comment section below.
I didn't expect that I failed the test. The correct answer is would. I didn't expect that I would fail the test. I call you when dinner is ready. The correct answer is will. I will call you when dinner is ready. I promise I quit smoking. The correct answer is will. I promise I will quit smoking. My teacher said she watched my performance. The correct answer is would. My teacher said she would watch my performance. You come to the cinema with me? The correct answers are both will and would. Would you come to the cinema with me? Or will you come to the cinema with me? It depends on which mood you would like to appear. If you would like to sound more polite, indirect, and formal, use would.
I hope you find this video helpful. If you do so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Yes, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And you may send super thanks to show support on my contents. And I would like to invite you to support me on my second YouTube channel in which I do vlogs together with my family. It is Aubrey and Family Lifestyle TV. And you may also support my little sister as she shares her study tips as well as English video lessons on her YouTube channel. The name of her channel is I Am Miles Bermudez. And before we end, let me motivate you na anuman po ang inyong mga edad, estado sa buhay o narating sa buhay. Kung mayroon kayong mga pangarap, wala pong imposible basta lagi lamang pagsisikapan at pagsasanayan. See you on my next videos! Bye! Sa video lesson natin ngayon ay pag-aaralan natin ang tamang gamit at pagkakaiba-iba ng tatlong modals na have to, need to, at must. Hello! I am Teacher Aubrey and welcome back to my channel. My mission in this channel is to help those who would like to improve their English speaking, writing, and communication skills. Kaya naman kung interesado ka, ay iniimbitahan kitang maging bahagi ng ating YouTube online community of learners. Simple lamang ang gagawin, you just have to click the subscribe button below and don't forget to ring the notification bell para lagi kang updated every time I upload new videos. Ang video lesson natin today ay special request ng isa sa ating mga subscribers na si IC Ibay. Sabi niya, nice po, Teacher Aubrey. Gawa din po kayo ng have to, need to, at must. Thank you po and God bless. Ayan, yung request mo ay ginawan ko ng video today and I hope marami kang matutuhan. In the English language, mayroon tayong iba't ibang mga kaparaanan para ipahayag kapag ang isang bagay ay kailangang maisakatuparan batay sa obligasyon o batay sa batas o batay sa ipinatutupad. Kaya naman para sa mga mag-aaral o kahit sa mga professionals na ay nalilito sila sa pagpili ng tamang salita na gagamitin batay sa kung ano ang sitwasyon. Kaya naman sa video natin ngayon ay lilinawin natin kung ang dapat bang gamitin ay have to, need to, or must. Simulan na natin. Ang tatlong salitang must, have to, at need to ay itinuturing nating modals in the English grammar na kung saan ay nagpapahayag sila ng responsibility, obligation, and necessity. Ang tatlong salitang ito ay magkakapareho lamang naman ng kahulugan pero magkakaiba yung tindi or intensity nila depende sa pangangailangan or sa level ng necessity or obligation sa isang pangungusap. Unahin natin ang salitang need. Ang salitang need ay sinusundan siya ng to. It will be need to followed by a verb. It will be need to followed by a verb. For example, need to open, need to jump, need to wash. At sa tatlong ito, need to, have to, and must, itong need ay nagpapahayag na ang isang bagay ay kailangan. At ito yung pinakamababawang kahulugan sa tatlo. Pinakamadalas itong ginagamit kapag gustong ipahayag o sabihin na kailangang magawa o matapos ang isang bagay. Narito ang mga halimbawang pangungusap. I need to wash my dirty clothes. O kailangan kong labhan yung madudumi kong mga damit. Dahil wala na akong maisusuot kapag hindi ko ito nilabhan. I need to stop o kailangan kong huminto. Ginagamit din ito para ipahayag na ang isang bagay o isang kilos ay kailangang maisakatuparan o makumpleto ng isang tao. Example sentence. I need to call my mom and find out how my dad's surgery went. Kailangang matawagan ko ang nanay ko para malaman kung ano ba ang nangyari sa naging operasyon ng tatay ko. So, ipinahayag doon na mahalaga na makumpleto o maisakatuparan yung isang kilos na gagawin. Another example, she didn't want to go into town but she needed to buy groceries. Nangangahulugan na ayaw niyang magtungo na doon sa town pero kinakailangan niya. There is the necessity. Kinakailangan niyang pumunta dahil kapag hindi siya pumunta doon, ay pwedeng wala na siyang mabilhan ng groceries. In addition to need to, ginagamit ito kapag gusto kang ipahayag ng isang bagay ay kailangan, kinakailangang isakatuparan o kinakailangan ng isang tao. Pero hindi katulad ng must and have to, ginagamit ang need to kapag tumutukoy ka sa kilos na gagawin mismo sa oras na iyon. Hindi siya tumutukoy sa general responsibility or duty. Kapag tumutukoy ka lang mismo sa pangangailangan sa mismong oras na iyon. Need to po ang ginagamit. Example sentences, she needs to go to Manila next week. Kailangan niyang pumunta sa Maynila sa susunod na linggo. So there is a shorter span of time. Hanggang next week lang. Another example, you need to get up early tomorrow. You need to get up early tomorrow. Kailangan mong bumangon ng maaga bukas. Okay, so nagpapakita ng urgency. Kailangan agad-agad bukas gagawin yon na gumising at bumangon siya ng maaga. We need to focus on getting new business this month. We need to focus on getting new business this month. So nagpapakita yun ng necessity o pangangailangan in a shorter span of time or may urgency agad-agad within this month. Alright? So again, that is the use of need. Ito yung pinakamababaw sa tatlo, nagpapahayag ng necessity o pangangailangan. Let's now move on to the word must. Ang salitang ito ang masasabi nating basic o pangunahin at pinakadirektang paraan ng pagsasabi na ang isang bagay ay kailangang gawin. We are using must kapag gusto nating sabihin na ang isang bagay ay compulsory o sapilitan, by hook or by crook, gusto mo man o ayaw mo ay kailangan gawin. And if you would like to express personal obligation o kapag ang nagpapahayag na kailangan gawin ng isang bagay, yung mismong taong nagsasalita, not from the outer source na sinasabing gawin niya yon, pero siya mismo ang nagsasabing kailangang gawin yon dahil yon ay obligation. Ano pa po, ginagamit ang form na ito sa lahat ng uri ng subjects. Gayun din naman, ginagamit ito for present and future actions. Ginagamit din ang must kapag gusto mong sabihin that something is most likely o gusto mong sabihin na yung isang bagay ay halos ganun na siya. Okay? Halos aabot na siya sa ganung punto. Example sentence, it must be 90 degrees in here. It must be 90 degrees in here. Ano ibig sabihin? Na yung tinuturo mong bagay na yon ay halos 90 degrees na yung sukat. Okay? That is most likely 90 degrees. Ginagamit din ito kapag gusto nating magbigay ng emphasis, stress, o diin sa isang bagay o sa sinasabi natin. Example sentence, I must know. Where did you get your shoes? I must know. Where did you get your shoes? Gusto mong sabihin na kailangan talaga ay alam ko kung saan mo nakuha o nabili yung sapatos mo. Nagbigay ka ng emphasis ng diin or stress dun sa bagay na pinahayag mong kailangan ay alam mo. Let us now jump to the third and last word, which is have to. Have to is almost the same with must. Pero ang salitang ito ay yung masasabi nating mas flexible kumpara sa must. Bakit? Because the word must is only used for present and future actions. But the word have to, magagamit natin siya for present, for the future, and also for the past. Kaya naman, Ang modal na ito na nagpapahayag ng obligation and necessity ang mas karaniwang ginagamit in the modern English. Ito yung karaniwan nating mas naririnig dahil pwede siyang gamitin for the past, present, and future actions. At isa pang kaibahan nito sa salitang must, kung ang salitang must ay for personal obligation, ito naman po ay nagpapahayag na ang isang bagay o ang isang gawain ay impersonal obligation. Ano ang ibig sabihin? Kumbaga, ipinatutupad ang obligasyon na iyon batay sa iniutos ng batas, for example, obliged or required by the law. That is an outer source, not from personal. Kaya tinawag na impersonal obligation by the school rules, by law of the country. Kaya sinabing from external source. Okay? Example sentences. Chris has to wear uniform. The rules say so. Kailangan magsuot ni Chris ng uniforme batay sa ipinatutupad ng batas o batay sa kautusan. Another example. I have to exercise more. The doctor said so. I have to exercise more. The doctor said so. O, kailangan ko pa na mas mag-ehersisyo. Sabi sa akin ng doktor ko. That shows impersonal obligation. O yung nag-require sa'yo na gawin ng isang bagay ay from the external source o hindi mismo ikaw. From our first example, mula sa batas na ipinatutupad sa school. From the second example, mula sa doktor. They are external sources. Or kaya tinawag natin siyang for impersonal obligation. At pansinin ninyo, sa unang sentence, I said, Chris has to. In the second sentence, ginamit naman natin ay, I have to. Tandaan natin, pareho lamang sila ng kahulugan. Have to pa rin yun. Ginagamit lang natin ang has to for singular subjects o sa mga pinag-uusapan na isa lamang po. At ginagamit naman ang have to sa mga plural subjects o sa anumang pinag-uusapan or subject na dalawa o higit pa at kasama pa rin doon yung exception to the rule na pronouns I and you na laging ginagamitan ng plural verb na have. More examples. We have to get up early. We have to get up early. Kailangan nating bumangon ng maaga. Hindi man sinabi yung kung sino yung nag-utos sa kanila o nag-obliga, pero dahil ginamitan ng have to, nangangahulugan na from external source yung obligation na sinasabi. Maaring dahil ni-required sila ng nanay nila o ng tatay nila dahil maaga silang aalis. Another example, she had to work hard yesterday. She had to work hard yesterday. Mapapansin natin na ang ginamit dito ay had dahil ang have to ay pwedeng gamitin sa present, future, and past. And yung had ay for the past at ginamitan ng time expression na yesterday nangangahulugan na kahapon o tapos na. She had to work hard yesterday. Kinailangan niyang magsikap sa trabaho kahapon. Hindi man direktang sinabi kung sino ni nag-oblige sa kanya o nag-obliga sa kanyang magtrabaho o magsikap sa pagtatrabaho kahapon, pero dahil ginamitan ng had to, nangangahulugan na from the external source yung obligation. Maaaring na-required siya ng boss niya, na-required siya ng amo niya na kailangan niyang pagbutihin yung pagtatrabaho niya kahapon dahil kailangang ma-meet yung requirement sa kumpanya. It's your turn! This time, I prepared a short quiz for you. Maaari ninyong ihinto saglit ang video para mas mabasa ninyo ang bawat item at ilagay ninyo ang inyong mga sagot sa ating comment section sa ibaba as well as your scores. The end of our lesson for today. If you learned something from this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Yes, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And of course, click the notification bell para lagi kayong updated every time I upload new videos. And iniimbitahan ko rin kayo na maging bahagi ng aking second YouTube channel in which I do vlogs together with my family. It is Aubrey and Family Lifestyle TV. Gayun din naman, suportahan ninyo ang aking little sister. She's a future teacher sharing her tips and English video lessons on her YouTube channel. I will put the description in the description box below, or you may click the link here. Her YouTube channel is I Am Miles Bermudez. That will be your additional source of information pagdating sa grammar lessons and English tips. At ngayon naman, batiin natin yung mga nagre-request. It's shoutout time! Unahin natin si Music to You. Sabi niya, "Good morning, Teacher Aubrey. Thank you for this lesson. I have learned a lot from this." Pa-shoutout po, ma'am. Hehe. Ngayon na lang po ulit ako nakanood sa video niyo. Ma'am, naging busy na po kasi ako. Hope you still remember me. Po, si Kimi Park. And si Kimi Park, naman naalala kita. Lagi kang active sa live lessons. Ayan. After this, I'm going to have my live lesson. Next, shoutout natin si Sir Marvin. Hello po, Sir Marvin. I-check niyo yung channel niya. Mag-subscribe din kayo. Marami kayo matututunan na life hacks, social media hacks na ituturo niya sa inyo. And he's also an English teacher. May mga video lessons siya doon ng English lessons. I-check niyo at mag-subscribe kayo kay Sir Marvin. Sabi niya, "Thank you po, Teacher Aubrey." Thank you din po, sir. And just keep on going. Keep on vlogging. Eto pa, sabi, ayan, "Thank you po from Lito Acharon." Hello, Lito Acharon. Thank you po, Ma'am Aubrey. Marami po akong natutunan. God bless po, Lito Acharon po. Acharon from Bohol. Hello po! Kumusta po kayo dyan sa Bohol? Ang ganda dyan. Sana makapunta ako dyan soon. Mag-iingat po kayo lagi. Thank you, Lito Acharon. Eto, shoutout din sa estudyante ko na nag-comment. Vanessa May Daihop. Hello, anak. Van. "Hi, Teacher Aubrey. I'm Vanessa, your student." Thank you, anak. Sana lagi kang manood ng videos ko. Another one, i-shoutout natin si Mauricia Rios. Hello, Mauricia Rios. Thanks, Miss Aubrey, watching from Saipan. Hello po, dyan sa inyo sa Saipan. Lagi po kayo mag-iingat. And lastly, shoutout natin from Cebu, si Evelyn Inato Frank. Hello, Evelyn. Sabi niya, "Shoutout po, Ma'am Aubrey, from Consolacion, Cebu." Kumusta po kayo dyan sa Cebu? Lagi po kayo mag-iingat at salamat sa pagsuporta ninyo sa ating channel. Thank you, Miss Evelyn Inato Frank. And that's the end of our shoutout in this video lesson. Kung gusto ninyong mabati sa mga susunod nating videos, maaari ninyong i-comment yung lugar na kinaroroonan ninyo or mag-request ng shoutout sa ating comment section sa ibaba. And before we end this video, let me remind you this motivation, ano man ang inyong mga edad, estado sa buhay o narating sa buhay. Kung mayroon kayong mga pangarap, wala pong imposible basta lagi lamang pagsisikapan at pagsasanayan. See you on our next videos! Bye!